Yo, what's up, guys? uh, all right, I guess we're just gonna freaking start this thing. Not gonna lie, I am a little nervous, but at the same time, we're just here to have fun and listen to some tunes, listen to some goodies. So I'm really glad you guys decided to join, hop on. Got a LaCroix, and we're ready to freaking rock. Let's go over to, and let's go ahead and hop over to Ableton so I don't have to look at my face as much anymore. Bam, there we go. All right, let's do this. All right, so we're rocking Ableton right now. I'm gonna assume that most of you guys have heard what we're about to break down. It's just a little thing that Kenyon Reed and Aaron Broman and I put together. It actually started with Kenyon just sent me some guitar things, and I'll actually show you the guitars right now that he sent me soloed, just for you guys to get a feel of like this is what he gave me. So it starts, with this line. Fun stuff, right? Fun stuff. And then that second guitar comes in, super cool. Fun stuff. Then we go to this like B section thing. Ah, real nice. Just freaking so good, right? So this is all I had to start. And then obviously we've got like the different sections, super vibey. And then originally we didn't have a solo, but now you can see that there's like a little, or you can hear rather, there's a little solo. Kind of fades in on the right. So that wasn't originally how we had it, but he recorded that too. So that's what we started with. So first he just gave me this, right? So I made this little like reverse. I basically just took some of his guitars, reversed them into Ableton, threw on some verb, and like did some EQ goodies and all that stuff to create like that kind of intro. So that's pretty cool. It's pretty wide. Also, if you're not listening with headphones, I would probably recommend that. It's freaking huge. It's wide. It's awesome. And then anyway, sorry, tangent. So we start with that little reverse thing. Goodies. And hop into the intro, super fun. And then we end with it as well. Like I was trying to figure out a way to end the song. So I actually took these guitars, right? Threw them at the end as well and put that little reverse thing. So we like come down. Those like pulsy guitars come back in. Reverse. And that's how we ended it. So it started with just guitars, and then this is my final bass. It definitely did not start off sounding like this, but I was trying to figure out like what the chord progression would be, right? Right. We're in D flat. So I decided to just play a 1 and then a 6, and we kind of just go from there. So I'm like going 1 to 6. I'm like, that's freaking cool, but I'm also like, what the heck am I gonna do on this? Like, that kind of sounds like a 2 maybe. And then like a 1 maybe, but I decided to not do that, and I actually decided to go to this flat 7 here, flat 7, minor 5, minor 6, 1, and then flat 7 to the 4, up to the 6, and then to the 2 minor right here. So it kind of sounds like we're ending on like the relative minor, even though it's not, which is cool because it makes it feels like it changes keys later, which I guess it kind of does. And then we drop back into, and then originally I didn't have this piano, but just for like chord stuff you can hear, we're going from 4 to the 3. Originally I was trying to figure out a way to put a major 2 in here because major 2s are also always just great, you know? And then actually, I think there is one later. Yeah, there's major 2 there. Anyway, so I started doing some keys stuff. So I'll just solo up this keys group. Also, so the drums obviously didn't come in just like a tuba, like a stem like this. I do all of my, or at least most of my production actually happens in Ableton just because I'm a lot faster at it. So like keys stuff, a lot of time perk stuff as well. But then my like all of like more of my mixing kind of stuff. So once I kind of landed on production elements, kind of got all the parts sorted and stuff, I bounced everything, moved it to Pro Tools, then like mixed from there. So let me pop back over. So the drums right here, that's from Pro Tools. This is the bass stem that I recorded into Pro Tools. And then these guitars are from Pro Tools as well. Just because otherwise I'd have like 8 guitar tracks maybe. So I wanted just to consolidate into like a 2-bus just for this particular kind of little run through. Because I wanted to focus more on like the fun goodies. The first kind of keys element that comes in is this little side chainy thing. Side chainy, so good. So I'll leave the guitars in for reference. Actually, I'll leave the guitars in the bass in for reference. So like, you know, guitars happen, right? Then when the bass comes in, I'm actually gonna take it out, sorry. When the bass comes in, this little side chain thing happens. So that kind of gives it some like goods. And then this is a super fun patch. I use a lot of Omnisphere. I'm pretty sure this is an Omnisphere patch. Oh my gosh, and I'm doing a ton to it. So yeah, we got some goodies up here. It's called Cam and I Distraught Transtension, if you want to check that out. It's in the hardware library of Omnisphere. If you have Omnisphere, that's like my #1 go-to place. If I'm browsing for a patch, I'll just almost always go directly to hardware library. Because it's just a bunch of like analog synth stuff, and that's freaking cool. So I'm looking at my phone and seeing, oh, I love you too, Dom. He doesn't know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. So yeah, Cam, Major 2s are our jam, my dog. Anyway, I know it's probably hard to see, but that, but on the bottom of Ableton, this is where like all the effects processing happens. So I'm doing a bit to it. So like the side chaining, I think I'm doing some like filter automation maybe. It looks like just some, oh, I ended up taking that part out anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Sick, yeah. So I'm doing no automation at all. But basically I am filtering this little side chain thing a little bit. Just to get rid of, because without it, it's got a lot more of that like clicky. So I'm just taking a little bit of that out, running it through. This is actually not something I originally did in Ableton, but I did it in Pro Tools and I wanted to convey kind of the mix. But Sound Toys has this thing called Little Radiator. It's just, I run most of my key stuff through it and I don't really turn anything up. I just turn the noise off. It just kind of, it's like a preamp model, right? And so it just takes all my digital sounding keys and just gives them a little goods, like a little umph, you know, right? And then we hop over to this trance synth whatever. So super detuned, super weird. And those chords are kind of like getting wild, right? And the trance thing, I don't know, doing some verbs, some filtering, compression, a little bit of multi-band compression just to get rid of, like to kind of compress that part a little more, you know? And then I'm running it through this super cool plugin. You guys should all get it because it's free. It's Isotope Vinyl. I'm not doing anything super extreme, but the warp feature on it is amazing. It just, like if I turn it way up, it's just like a bunch of modulation, right? Which is super cool. You can change the ear, which will like filter the source a little more, like cut more high end, cut more low end, and just make it sound more old school, right? And it's free, which is awesome. And you can do weird stuff. That's actually kind of cool because it's like the root note. That's fun. Yeah, anyway. So we got that. And then at the same time that comes in, this little like ARPy dude comes in. With things like this, I'm just like, I'm looking through Omnisphere, I'm looking through different, and I'm just, any patch that sounds cool, like I just use, because why not, you know? Or, I mean, I may use it, or like, I may use it at first and then end up getting rid of it, you know? But with the guitars, all of that key stuff. So it's just like adding a bunch of movement, a bunch of weird modulation, you know, just goodies, right? With the bass too. And then we come to like the breakdown, turnaround, whatever thing, where this hook comes in. That's I think a reason patch. So I just wanted that to lift and have like a little melody. Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and go over some of the perk stuff that's happening. Not a lot happens at the beginning. I'm just using like these little hat loops. I don't know what they might be that sound. They might be, I don't even know what they are. But right when the guitars come in, we've got these little guys, right? Just on the right, just because I like, obviously, I love stereo stuff. And so since the guitar, it starts in on the left, like the guitar 1 is on the left, guitar 2 is on the right, and that's how I kind of mixed them, right? So you can hear in the beginning a little bit on the left, right? And then when guitar 2 comes in, it kind of balances out because now one's on the left, one's on the right. It kind of feels more balanced. So since it's just guitar 1 in the beginning, I wanted those hats to be kind of on the right, but then eventually I wanted them to be playing with each other on both sides. So we start with just the right side hats. Turn that up a little bit. It's got some delay on it. I've got the vinyl thing on it. Just the wear setting kind of takes away some of that high end. So without it, it's way brighter. With it, it's just a little more muted, right? Then we got some Valhalla delay. I'm a big Valhalla delay guy. I think Nick Staley told me about this. So on the left side, we got a dotted eighth, and then on the right side, just a straight eighth note. So it's just creating a lot of stereo goodies, right? And then this left side hat comes in. So now it's like 2 different patterns happening at the same time. Yeah. Right? So that's pretty sick, huh? Right, guys? Sick? Awesome. Love it. And then, so that's really the only perk stuff happening like in the beginning. And then when we get to that little breakdown with like the flat 7 that we're all big fans of, right? Everyone loves a good flat 7. Anyway, so let's open up some of these guys. We got some claps and some tambos and some whatever. So we're in like the drums. You guys have probably heard the drums, but oh, sorry, I turned them off. All right. So just freaking Vibe City. Way to go, Aaron Broman. Super fun. Love that. Oh, one thing I wanted to talk about before we get too much further is this is actually a trick I do in Pro Tools, but I just copied it in Ableton so that you could see. So this is my bass, just normal. And this is where if you have headphones, you'll really be able to tell. And if not, you probably won't, but it's okay. I can tell. So we got our rockin' bass tone, right? It comes in and it's clean well, not clean, but you know, like by itself at first. Also, oops. Right. But I wanted to add, I usually do this, especially in a lot of the videos I've been putting out recently, but I'll add like some chorus on the sides. So that's probably really quiet. I'm just gonna turn it all the way up. So what's happening here is I'm just taking the bass, the normal bass, right? And in Pro Tools, it's like a send and return kind of deal. So I'm using this, another free plugin that's freaking great, is the Tal Chorus LX. It's modeled after a Juno chorus. They actually have a Juno VST instrument that's like $50 or something, but the chorus is free. So it's actually not all the way wet. I still wanted some of the dry signal so that I could also just decapitate it, destroy it. This is another Sound Toys plugin. It's just distortion. A lot of this stuff, I'm using a bunch of third-party plugins because I like them, but you could totally accomplish a lot of this with just like standard DAW stuff. And then I'm just kind of smashing it just so it's very consistent, like its level is super consistent, but yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like that. And then obviously it's not that loud. I think I had it at neg 18. So with the bass, without it, this is just normal bass, right? And then with it, it's super quiet. It's not necessarily meant to, you're not necessarily meant to hear it as much as you are just kind of, it just gives it some character. And if it doesn't actually do anything, I don't care because I have fun making it. There it is a little bit. I'm also cutting some low end from it so that the low end isn't getting in the way. Because if you're modulating low end and it's like low, it's like it's the odds of it creating like phasey weird issues like are higher. Amir knows Tau chorus is one of my faves. Yes. But anyway, yeah, cutting some low end out of that. Otherwise, the modulation could get wacky. So yeah, it's just weird and fun and cool. I'll leave it turned up a little louder than I had it, just because why not? Let's check out some of this perk that happens in the little drop thing. I love doing like little things like this. So we'll have like a little reverse sweller guy. I have this perk verb bus. Sometimes I feel like it's a bit much, so I kind of like bring things in and out. We'll see. But here, so I have like a little reverse thing. Yeah. So that like kind of gives it a little pop of energy right before. So with the drums, and in context, it's coming from the section where like, here comes a flat 7. Yeah. So this is also, I love big verb claps there, that sound thing. But just, and then even like reversing little things. I love messing with reverse. Yeah, that feels awesome. Cool. And then, we come down and I was like, I know I want to do some kind of weird, like we crash out, some kind of weird like reversing thing to get us into the next section. So I did this little hook thing that we had. I think I just actually printed it. I'm so sorry. And when I say print, I mean like I take like a MIDI instrument and record it in audio into a separate track so that way I can just ditch the MIDI. So it's in a session somewhere. But basically I took Valhalla delay and upped the feedback a lot so it started to oscillate. And so it sounds like this. So we come out of up the feedback, starts to oscillate. And then I just chopped it off. And then I combined it with like these little reverse goodies. I think they originally came from Output, like Arcade. So I have one far left and one kind of on the right. That's just weird and cool, right? And then we go into the next section, and then I knew we needed some piano, right? So we come down to just keys and Kenyon's little guitar line. And then here's another instance of using reverse, but this time it's with a piano. So this chord right here, I wanted it to kind of like flow into like the next section, right? So I literally just recorded this piano and then put it in an audio track, reversed it in Ableton. So that's cool. Yeah. And then we come in and, man, I guess I can talk about this in any order. I have like an order in my mind that I think I'm doing. I don't know. We did I wanted to do some synth bass here. I didn't want to start playing real bass yet, but I knew we needed some like vibey stuff. Also the piano, the guitars, synth bass. Also, you're probably hearing my computer fan running so hard because it's running this video stuff and Ableton at the same time. It's super great. So that bass kind of swells in. And it's actually, oh God, it's so freaking cool. Just like, I think this bass is so cool. It's an Omnisphere preset, but it swells in. And then I'm using this auto pan plugin in Ableton, but basically you can make it to where instead of panning left to right, it aligns, and it's just you can use it as like a tremolo. So I'm almost using it as like a fake sidechain effect. So it fades in, and then it like dips on the downbeat, right? And I am what do you know, decapitating it some more, because I decided to so basically when I bounced it from Ableton, it already had some distortion, and then I went back and in Pro Tools I decided to add a little more, so that's why it's like that. A little bit of rolling off a little bottom end, rolling off a little top end. Nothing crazy. That was a Pro Tools thing. I think it was a -9. Yeah, so then bass comes in. Originally, this drum part that happens during this section was like, obviously Aaron recorded it just normal, like the way the drums sound here, you know, nice and bright, punchy. But I wanted this section to feel different, and so I decided to filter them. And the way I'm doing that is I'm using. So if I take this off, I think. Oh yeah, this is how they would normally sound, right? Yeah, so it's just normal drums, right? And then let's start adding some stuff. So first I put on Devil Lock, which is a Soundtoys plugin that's freaking so BA. I love it. And it's a compressor distortion wild thing. So the first, all the knobs, like all the settings are so tame, but like what it does is wild. So without it, just normal Vibe City, baby. And then with it, which I've also rolled off a ton of top end, but you can hear, I mean, on Instagram, I'm sure everything is compressed, to be fair. So you got your crush, which is like how much compression you have going in. I'm pretty sure it's like the input, some compression, and then the crunch, which is like the output distortion. So it makes it really, really loud too. So you have to kind of compensate sometimes afterwards in gain, like turning it down afterwards, you know? So like you can compress it way more. That's fun. You can make it way more distorted. Oh yeah. That's freaking so cool. And then you can actually change the mix. So this is completely dry, and this is blending it in. So I had it like pretty dark, pretty heavy mix. And then I panned it to I actually am automating the panning. I actually did some automation for the darkness. I forgot about that. So I need to re-enable that. So sorry. Okay. I actually panned it to the left because I don't know. I just wanted it to be weird. And then I was like, I'll add some perk goodies on like the right side to balance it out. So, and then I'm actually automating it to come from the left a little back more towards the center. So you can see down here. And also I made it mono. So I didn't want any stereo image. I just wanted like a mono, super dark, super distorted source. Yeah. And then it's like automating to come, you can kind of hear from the left a little closer to center. And then we stop. 2, 3, 4. And then I needed to take some of this low end out just to not have it. And then in Pro Tools, I think I high passed it some more just because. And then I took out some to like 250, and I made it a little darker by taking down some like 10K. So that's what it sounds like with all the processing. And then I knew I wanted, so I'll leave this like little put all the perk stuff in now. So I have this on the left, right? And then I have these guys on the right. So I have like a kick and then like a snare, like a really verby snare. So the kick has some verb on it. That's Valhalla. And then the snare is actually running through Devil Lock as well, because I wanted it to have like a similar vibe just on the right side. So we have like a centered bass drum or like a muted like 808 kick. And then on the right, since our filter drums are on the left, I have like our little snare thing on the right. So it sounds like, so it's like you hear it like over here, and it's super, so that's without Devil Lock, without any filtering. This is with it. It gives it a lot more sustain too. Then with the filter drums, it sounds like. So it's like kind of balanced a little bit. Like obviously the drums are still predominant, but it just gives it some context over there. And then we needed a way to get out of there really cool. So we have like the bass going, right? Drums. And we got like a little swell in, like classic stuff, right? This is everything. Here's some guitars. And then I wanted like a little stop after this, right? So I basically just made this little like reverse clap thingy, right? Right, and then the drums like fill in. Back into the groove, which is super fun. And then keys wise, what we're doing down there, obviously we have the piano most of the time. And then I wanted like some kind of like ambient drone thing. So as the filter drums come in, I wanted something weird to happen. So we got the piano, right? And then this drone happens. Sorry, I'll take the piano out. So that is like, I did a freaking ton of processing on these guys just to get them to sound, because the way they started, let me just turn off everything. Because the way they started was really harsh, very like, it's not gonna fit in a mix for sure. So I'll just turn off all this processing. But I just knew I wanted something like weird and like, because without them, let's unsolo everything. So sorry. So without them, because we got like almost done with the song and I didn't have these guys, but I was like, man, this section just feels like it needs something fun, something cool. So we're coming out of it. So this is the mix just without those drones. It's so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's cool. It just, a lot of times when I'm producing a song or making music or whatever, it's just a matter of like, you hear something in your head and you try to recreate it. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it super doesn't. Like at the beginning, I did not think this one was going to work out. Like I was sure that it was going to sound the drone part, not necessarily this song, but so originally this is with no processing. This is what all the samples sounded like. So I had this like little guy. It's just like, yeah, classic, right? And then this guy, like I actually buried that in the mix because I think it sounds still kind of weird. And then we have this guy. I wanted that like on the offbeat. So like, here, let me turn on the click. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So if this guy is on the downbeat, then the other guy's on the offbeat, right? Da, do, ga, do, ga, do, ga. And I panned to the offbeat one far right because why not pan everything every different way? Why not? You know what I'm saying? And then the one in the middle is like the side chain kind of almost feel where it's reversed. Here, let me get in on that. You guys probably can't even see, am I right? Ooh, shortcut. So, oh yeah, and I took one of these and just reversed it so it kind of like ramps in. So, it's so weird. This one especially, I'm like, why did I even use this? But I love it. So then I was like, they need to be less bright. Like I need to, cause it's like this section, the drums are filtered, the perc is filtered, like everything is dark, everything is, you know, whatever. So then I filtered the bottom one. I filtered like the offbeat guy. Oh, so sorry. Filtered the sidechain guy, right? Ugh, yeah, I took all that nasty high end. And then I wanted some like a 16th note. I think it's 16th, maybe it's 8th. No, a 16th note delay using the Valhalla delay on this guy. So it feels more of like a, instead of just a single pulse on the downbeat, it's just like going. Oh, that sounds amazing. And so this is with all of them together without any of the group processing. So this is just processing individually, right? Yeah. It's cool, right? I think so. And then it needs to cut off. So then the group processing goes like some EQ, some verb, some distortion. So EQ wise, high passing, so taking out some low end. Low passing some more, taking out some more high end. And then I did just a little dip around 170 because it was just getting a little wacky in there. Yeah. Yeah, so just a little EQ. That didn't really change it a whole lot, especially over Instagram. then added a really long decay verb. So now all of a sudden it's way more ambient, which is awesome. That's what we want. And then this is my freaking trick, y'all. I put distortion after reverb because then it catches the tail of that reverb and it distorts it as well. So like without the reverb before the distortion, we still get distortion on the source, right? Like it's got some grit. It's awesome. And if you put the reverb after, it's still cool. But the reverb itself is clean, right? So this is where it is a little nerdy and a little wild. But the source is distorted, but the reverb itself is clean. But if we put the distortion after the reverb, not only is the source distorted because the reverb is like the mix is set about half and half. So we're getting half dry signal, half wet signal. So the source is getting distorted and the tail of the reverb is getting distorted too, which just gives it a lot of extra goodies and character. So that's what it sounds. This is what it sounds like with the reverb before the distortion. So then the reverb is still kind of breaking up a little bit. Super fun. And then in Pro Tools, I did some automation with like the volume and put like the little radiator plugin that I was talking about. Yeah, sick. There we go. Ooh, keyboard shortcuts. Love that. So then with all of that, now this section sounds like. Yeah, so without the drone, with the drone. So cool. Then I was like, this is a classic Dave move as well, is this little ARP from Reason. Yeah, it's just such a great transition. So then that's a friggin' vibe. So then as I was writing the bass part for this song, I heard, Kenyon obviously playing this line. And then I was like trying to figure out what I was doing, And then when he goes to these pulsy guys, I was like, why don't I just keep playing the line that he was playing? So this was birthed, probably my favorite part of the song, is going from Kenyon doing it. Also, Tyler, it sounds great. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Guys, Tyler Linehan is an insane producer, composer, musical freaking genius. Check him out. So then bass takes over the guitar part when the drums come in. The new wanted to be drive in there. We'll get to that line in a second. I just can't yet. Wanted a little bit of shaker, just like classic drums and shaker, since our hi-hat. Right? So it's like, this is another classic move, right? Your hi-hat, when you're a drummer, is normally on your left, okay? You can even hear it. It's like a little to the left. So I want that shaker to kind of be over to the right. So that way it's kind of creating just that double kind of stereo vibe, right? Any other goodies there? The ARP, whatever, that comes in. So we're in the groove section, right? We're back on the hats. Just freaking grooving our little faces off. I'm not going to go over much bass stuff because you can see me playing it in the video, so you can look if you want what I'm doing. But I'm really proud of this part, and I can't lie about that. So then, all right, B-side of this, I wanted a little hook to come in because otherwise it would have just sounded the same the whole time. So this little hook came to me from the heavens, and we got a couple different sounds. We have an Omnisphere sound. I'm sure it's a hardware synth. Oh, so analog, so modulated. Freaking goodies. Then I'm layering it with some kind of piano, I think, to give it attack. Yeah. So together it sounds like that. Putting a little bit of reverb on it. This is Sound Toys little plate. It's awesome. So I love the way that hook sounds and the part. It's just so fun to me. Then B-side, I also bring back, so our little like offbeat drone guy. I bring it back. This time it's a little brighter, right? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's really distorted and cool. I'm just gonna take out bass for now. So we got, so it's super standard. Piano's just playing some chords. Here's that 2 major. So we got that hook coming in, and our little offbeat synth sounds so nice. And then I knew we wanted to obviously get to this next session and have it be freaking huge. I'm gonna try not to cuss on this because I get really excited when I play music and whatever. Probably shouldn't have said that. Oh well. And so it's called Zombie on the track because in Omnisphere, I think it's called that. Like that was the name of the patch. Let's see. Yeah, Zomb. I honestly forgot how I made this. I just like was scrolling through patches and I was like, I need something. Oh, that's freaking trippy. I love it. So there's one, they're actually, oh my gosh, guys, believe it or not, they're not panned. I think it's because one's going up and one's going down or something. I forget. Yeah, so that starts high and goes down. This one, I think, starts low and goes up. Kind of? I don't know. But together it just creates this like super weird like synthy effects sweep thing. Yeah, I guess I'll just unsolo everything. Yeah. And then, you know, we get into this section and I want it to hit hard. So it's just got a huge like noise hit, not a lot going on with a little clap. Aaron does like a little offbeat thing. He hits like a snare on the off. So I wanted to accent that because why not? And then, so the line that Kenyon is playing is this. And then he's got like a harmony too. I wanted that to kind of pop, so I got this little Omnisphere goodie boy. What kind of effects am I doing? Just some verb, a little bit of distortion, some compression to bring it all together because there's 2 layers that come in. So this is a Uber stereo thing. Big surprise there. So it's just going bouncing left to right, which is really fun. On the actual track, it's got some delay. It looks like I brought down the width. Actually, I made it a little more mono, just to just so instead of going like super wide, it kind of like brings it in a little bit. And then later, and then we bring in like another octave, I think. Yeah. So that's just helping that part punch. I thought it was fun because it just pans a lot, which is cool. Nothing crazy. We bring in like our little hook again. It's a little quieter this time because I don't want it to get in the way. So then Kenyon's solo starts coming in. Right? We have like a little riser going perk-wise. Yeah. So I wanted that tambo to hit with his like full-time snare. We're still rocking, boys and girls. We're still getting this done. So I don't even know what I was talking about. Oh yeah, perk and stuff. All right, here we go. Yeah. Also, if you watch the video, you'll know that this fill, the ga-da-da-da, he doesn't actually play. I just wanted it, so I copied and pasted his snare stuff. But so we got perk bass drums. That tambo comes in. Kenyon soloing. And then keys in Keys World. What are we doing in Keys World? So we have the brass lead going. Oh yeah, I bring back our little drone friends from earlier, because why not? So we're coming out of that B section thing. Then we bring in like a little like portamento pad. This thing is freaking awesome. Ugh, yes. So I make it a little darker, and then I think I open up the filter later on. So that like movement is just so nice to me. Then we bring back our little drone friends. And then we've got Mr. Space Arp starts coming in. So this is how we get into it. Yo! Yeah, that ARP is just creating a bunch of movement. So in context, it kind of filters up, right? So we've got some frequency automation. It starts off dark, you know, classic, opens up. So then with everything, actually take out some drums and some bass just for now. So it's starting to filter up some. So it's not super loud. Again, I'm not trying to like make the mix super cluttered and stuff, but at the same time, I wanted it to be wild, you know? And so I just started adding like a bunch, like things that were just gonna create a bunch of movement. And then perk-wise, you know, what's a freaking song that sounds like Surveyor without, how do you zoom? There we go. Without a freaking sub drop, am I right? So we got, with bass, drums and perk solo, we've got our big like claps to start. Oh yeah. Then like a little sub drop that gets in. We bring him back in the hats there, which I thought was pretty cool. And then our little outro section is about to be massive. So we're figuring out how to really lift that. I want a good riser into it. This riser is really fun because it has some stereo goodies. We hit this big. Yeah, then we bring back the tambo. Then we have a bunch of accents too, just to really. Heck yeah. And then in this outro, let's see what we also have. Okay, sick. So we got the ARP going, and then the outro we bring back our little hook guy. And I brought it back in the bass synth just to give a little extra low end. Someone asked earlier what I have on my master bus. This is not what this is obviously in Pro Tools. I got a little more stuff, got a little bit of compression. But here, just to kind of convey the mix, I have a EQ that's bumping a little bit at 60, bumping a little bit at 8K. I have that center plug-in by Waves just to push the sides some more because that's fun. Then I just have a limiter that's not actually doing a lot. I just want to make sure I'm not clipping my output. So it's set basically just standard. It shouldn't be really doing any reduction at all. And then this utility plugin was just for the streaming purposes, just so I could turn it down a little bit and not have to worry about it. So anyway, here's a fun bass part that I really like. So we go like. So still kind of, I'm still kind of mimicking what Kenyon is doing, right? So he's like, right? So I wanted to do that on bass as well, just to kind of keep that melodic vibe going. So we're rocking and rolling. Okay, to be fair, that's a nice one. Am I right? And then this right here. That's super fun. And then the other pedal that I didn't talk about, it's a classic Bethel bass pedal. Just the microsynth. I kick it on in this last outro just to make it just wild. So, but we hit that little. And then we hit that micro synth. So I normally like will turn the micro synth off on like a downbeat just so, but on this song I was like, why not just let like the fuzzy sawtooth grit come out a little bit. So it kind of hangs on. Yeah. I will say the last thing I'll say, I think I've said that a couple times, so sorry. This outro, I didn't know what progression I wanted to do, honestly, because I was trying to do this progression, right? Which is the flat 7, minor 5, 6, 4, right? But it just wasn't feeling right on this outro because I was like, we have to end. I don't think we can end on the 2 again, like how we end right here. I don't think we can end like that. So we end on the which is the 6. So we ended up, I think I ended up doing flat 7, 5 minor, 6, and then 1, then flat 7, then 2, and then 1, then the 3, 6. That way it got us back to the 6 and it didn't feel like we had to end on a weird chord. So I just had to shake it up a little bit, and I honestly didn't know what I was gonna do at first, but then I figured it out. So yeah. But yeah, that's that. Make sure to check this out. And like I said, I think it would be super cool to release this on some kind of platform, just music-wise, because I listened back actually this morning to the Instagram TV, and what Instagram does, like, it kind of compresses it a little bit, and then it's definitely not as bright as I want it to be. I think it's filtered a little bit. So the actual mix is nice and bright, nice and clear, nice and punchy. Trying to think if I missed anything. Honestly, we're looking good. Really proud of this one. Guys, thanks again so much for watching. This was really fun. Seriously, you guys are the best. Stay blessed and safe out there.